What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy right here, man. MMA Reloaded. We are live and direct, folks, for episode 38 of MMA Reloaded on the mic, folks. Thank you for joining me wherever you're joining me from. We are live and direct, folks, for another sit down with one of the great athletes competing at Cage Steel 26 next Saturday night, August 21st, folks. August 21st, folks. Aaron Givens, who will face off with former Cage Steel featherweight champion Stafford Swainston at Cage Steel 26, which is sure to be a barn burner, folks. So I'm looking forward to sitting with Aaron. Aaron's a very, very talented standout in his own right. 8-1 in his career, still an amateur. You have to think, folks, that this is why amateur MMA in the UK is the best out there. These talents and these young fighters coming up and sort of building their career in the amateurs, it's just like watching a professional go. It's the same anticipation for me. Same as watching a professional. I love watching the amateurs because you get these matchups like Cage Steel 26 is going to put on with Muji Ahmed and Musa and Christian Musa, or like this one with Stafford Swainston and Aaron Givens. So Aaron, of course, trains out of the Ace MMA UK. He trains alongside Marcus Shanks and Sammy Hart, who will be also competing on at Cage Steel 26 as well. But folks, before I sort of get into the show and Aaron Givens joins us, folks, live, I wanna just talk about as of late we've seen a lot of beef going down on social media with fighters, and specifically Conor McGregor. Really, I don't know how to call it. It's more of a being a sore loser or being bitter, and that's how I'm seeing it. Yeah, I'm seeing is Conor McGregor is a very bitter man at this point. Yeah, the guy's got all the money in the world, right? But yet he still finds a fault or a fault line where he needs to say something, or where he feels like he needs to say something to keep himself relevant. You know what I'm saying? And so as of late, he's targeted Daniel Cormier. Now my thought process going into when I saw that was, why are you targeting Daniel Cormier? Why are you literally? What is the point? Yeah. Bear with me 1 second, folks. So it's going to do some particulars, and I'll come back and I'll tell you. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is the point of sort of, attacking a legend like Daniel Cormier because you're frustrated? It doesn't really make sense. There's a whole system out there called recovery. It's called having this time off while Conor McGregor got injured after the Dustin Poirier trilogy fight. Use that time off to sort of recover, to get your mind right again, bro. To sort of come back and say, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna show these lot why I'm still one of the best. And that's the mindset of a normal fighter, right? But no, Conor McGregor has to do this bollocks, and it's annoying. It pisses me off. It's not Conor McGregor. This is not Conor McGregor. This is some cringy circus act bullshit. All right, folks. Now, Aaron Givens is live and direct, folks. Let's get down to the show, and we'll introduce him here and there. Yes, Aaron. How's it going, mate?
Right. Hi, good mate. You?
How you doing?
I'm good, mate. I just trained this morning, so feeling good, and then just recovering now before training again tonight.
Yeah. Damn. I guess that's what it takes nowadays, right? Now you're eight nights out, so two, 3 training sessions. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the show. You're fighting in 8 nights at Case Steel 26 against Stafford Springston. In my opinion, one of the most anticipated fights on the card because of who you are and because of
Yeah.
who you. So I have to really ask you to just take me back and tell me how did it all start for Aaron Givens in mixed martial arts and combat sports?
Yeah. So it all started. Pretty much, it's like literally next month. It'll be seven years since I started MMA. Like with Ace MMA, which formerly known as Fighting Fit, back then. So training under Shad for 7 years now. So we've got a really good bond in there, especially with the other coaches as well. And it's one of them things that, you know, when you found a good team, that like it's kind of what you stick with. Like, especially if I've stuck with these guys for 7 years, they must be doing the right things. Like, otherwise, if they weren't great guys, if they weren't good at what they do, like I wouldn't still be here. So it's a testament to that, testament to how good they are, and even just the type of people they are, the sound guys. It's made me stick along.
So that's kind of like I wanted to ask you about that later on, but I guess I'll bring it.
I kind of jump in the gun a little bit.
Definitely jump in the gun, man. No, I love that. I love that because that's how it really starts with you for a fighter sport. Yeah, especially as an amateur and as a young fighter, even though you're 9-10 fights now in your career. Yeah, that's how it really starts. Is your environment in the gym, right?
And yeah, exactly. It's watching those guys. Like when you see the guys, like especially when I first started, I think Shaj was either just out of a fight or he just fought. It was along those lines. But when I'm looking up and seeing him fighting like in cage wars, the top of the UK level, it's like inspiration for young guys like me who wanted to. Because I was only 14 at the time, so coming in like young, fresh, looking up at these guys who were doing who were living the dream really. So that's kind of it's what gets you into it. It made me feel like, yes, like if I stick in and put the hours that these guys are putting in time, I'll get to where these guys are. And it's good to see. It's always good to have role models like that where you can see them putting in the hard work and then still being a nice guy at the same time. Like not like I'm beating all these guys, I'm going to be an absolute dickhead now. Like, no, like he's always the same person. And that's not just him, that's all of the guys. And it's what helps you know that I can do that.
I mean, that's also one of the main things as well. It's attitude, and it doesn't. I like look at you, right? 8-1 as an amateur, right? And you're not walking around like Conor McGregor, like with tattoos on your chest and all these chains and that on your neck. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, not your.
Yeah. So totally... again, like I'm not gonna sit here and say like slag off guys who do that. Like that can be like that. If what I mean by that is like if the person, say if a guy comes in all tattooed and all that stuff, and he wants to keep like that, that's him. Like it's not letting the sport change you. That's what I kind of stick by. Like so to those who are all tattooed and chained and walking around strutting, like you do your thing. If that is you, you do your thing, but don't let it's just not letting things change it. As soon as you become someone that you're not, that's when cracks start to show. Not even just in the fighting, just in mentality. You'll not show up the training properly, and so it's just being true to yourself. As long as you're doing that, that's what's gonna help you progress.
No, for sure. 100% true, man. I mean, like people are who people are, right? Every individual is different.
Yeah.
You know, like people may, you may gain confidence from, getting all these tattoos and walking around with that confidence. But yeah, it might work for you, Who knows? Yeah,
exactly.
Or,
Yeah, but personally, that's not me. So if I start getting tattoos and start strutting around the cage and everything, I hope one of the guys slaps me and is like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, stop it!" But yeah, like it's just being who you are, and that's like a big aspect of it for me, and I know that is for the guys as well. Just as long as we're ourselves, like, it's all that matters to us.
The main thing for me, I guess, is respect. Yeah, and you gotta stay humble at least. Yeah, even if you are like that, and you've got tattoos and you've got confidence there, bro. That the main thing for me is respect, Aaron, and it's all about just staying humble and just enjoying the ride, really, man.
Yeah, you gotta have fun. I just seen a clip. It's funny you said that. I just seen a clip the other day of Cerrone talking about that on
man, you
on
saw
the
it on
Friday. Yeah, I saw the clip. Yeah. I think it was you who shared it actually.
That's where I got it from.
But yeah, seen it, and it, especially a guy like him who's had so many fights as well. He's had the experience and he knows, and it's something that everyone always says. It's like you have to have fun. If you're not having fun doing it, why? Like if you really strip it down, I think sometimes because we do it like so often, like it's not actually natural to want to hit someone else and like having someone hit you. Like if you're really thinking about it, what is fighting? Like, so if you're doing it, if you're not liking doing it and you're just doing it, like, what's the point? That you've got to enjoy like what it is. As soon as you don't enjoy it, that's when it turns into something that like it's not the same, is it? So for me, it's like it is kind of, I see it more as a sport, like as a art that I want to try and be the best at that. Like I know there's guys who are like fighters where they want to just come in and like grit their teeth and just fight, whereas I want to be like just the best guy. Like yes, on fight night it'll come to that where you've got to kind of just get on with it and you've got to like do what you have to do in front of you to win. But to me, it's a sport. I want to be the best at it. I want to come in, learn the art. That's what I come to do.
100%. And I guess, all right, cool. So 2-part question there. So in terms of, because you keep, because you jumped.
I just like to talk. So if at any point, just cut me off and just ask the next question. That's fine.
I don't need to cut you off, Aaron. Now that's what it's all about. That's why you come on the show. It's to get it all out. But I mean, just to follow up on what you said about where you train at Ace MMA and taking inspiration from Shaj, and of course having Sammy and Marcus there too, who are going to be competing alongside you at K Steel 26 too, and I'll get to that in a bit. But just having that right gym environment, for a fight, and from a fighter's perspective, how important though is that? Because how important is it for a fighter to have a gym where they can focus and their mind is really
I literally feel like it is the most important thing about fighting is having like a team structure, because there'll be days in camp like everyone tries and like or hide it and things, but there's days that you don't want to come to the gym. You'll not want to, like, you don't want to do that extra round. Your body's feeling beat up, or like, and sometimes it is easy to just go, oh, like, no, I'll sit out. I'll join. But you need that person to like. Even so, for me, I've got the other guys fighting as well, so they're kind of we're egging each other on, and we're keeping it up with it. Then we have our coaches telling us like, but again, it's there's two edges to that sword though. There's the time where like you don't want to keep going, and your coach knows that you have to, so they'll keep you. Or the times where you want to keep going, but you shouldn't, and that's when so it's always like keeping the reins on me a little bit. But having that person to like who knows that through experience as well, who knows what they're doing and can keep you level. I think sometimes, especially in the camp, you can either get so focused that you're not say injuries, you're not trying to protect them, and loads of things that can happen there. And it's good to have a solid team who can help you with that. Even just mental prep, like sometimes you can get in your own head a lot, and it's good that there's other guys who know you personally that can support you through that and help you out.
And how does it feel to have, like you said, like how does it feel to have Sammy and Marcus competing there with you at K Steel 26, and like you said, egging each other on, and
yeah, I absolutely love it. Like, I love fighting on cards with sorry I keep interrupting you. I love fighting on like cards with the guys as well. It's a great atmosphere. I can see them like perform at their best, and it just helps the atmosphere in the gym as well. Like when you've got multiple guys fighting as well. Now we've got another show in September where we've got more guys on, so they're starting their camps, and so you've got like 9 guys getting ready for fights at different times, and everyone's coming in, and like the vibe, it's great. It's great atmosphere. It just makes you feel good. When you've got like 7, 8, 9 different guys all in the room, all looking for the same goal. Positive. It's great atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely the vibe, the atmosphere, having that right mindset, right? Because that's what it's all about. Is if you got just a negative vibe and people and you got people just having tension in the gym, it's not great for everyone.
Nah.
You don't want fighting inside the gym. That'll fuck you up, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, but the thing is with training camp is how has it been going for you leading into K Steel 26? Obviously now you're at fight week, you're starting to sort of tighten up the screws and anything that needs tightening. How has that been going for you over the past however long training camp been going?
It's been going great. Like I say, we're not so much. It's not so much been a camp for me as we've been training like just nonstop all year round, just putting in the graft. But again, just as you get a little bit closer to the fight, it's where you start tweaking like what you focus on in training, and like the intensities go up. So again, Shaj, Sham, Jordan, they all have like the knowledge in that game where they can all tell us the intensities we're going at, the volume, making sure we're picking at the right times. And honestly, I can really feel it. I mean, I was talking to Sammy the other day as well. Like, the pair of us are feeling so sharp. Like, feel like we're definitely picking at the right times. Like, also like on a Monday morning, we always do a session with Shaj, and that's like our fight prep, and we literally like coming out of that session feeling so just ready to go. And so I'll probably our hardest session of that was Monday just gone. Again, next week tailoring down a little bit, letting our bodies recover for the fights. But literally, we're feeling good. I just want those 8 days to come quick so we can get in there and get the job done.
100%. And I also wanted to, like, before we move on, I also wanted to follow up on what we were talking about before, and how confidence really grows for a fighter, and how how you start to mature and stuff. Like, I want to talk about how it early on in your career, Yeah, like you haven't lost since your actual amateur debut. You know,
Yeah.
and so how, as an amateur, yeah, how has being an amateur in this amateur career really benefited you with regards to that, and sort of all right, cool, I lost my first one, yeah, I can come back and combat 8-1 in your
Yeah.
career.
So
How
it's one of them things where, like, again, so it's all about experience. So if you talk about like losses, like they're not like my only losses. We jump in grappling comps and stuff like that all the time to feel like to get that sort of a feeling. So again, you know yourself, there's so, like, especially at grappling comps, you're gonna have so many matches. The amount you do as well, there's a chance you're gonna lose a couple. So it's that feeling that it's not very nice, but you get kind of like you get that feeling in other places where it's okay. Yes, you never want to lose, but I've got that feeling again in my C class fight where there's no headshots. I didn't get hurt. I got those losses there. Whereas now that I'm in my A class, like fights again, it's still amateur. We're still learning experience. We're just jumping into fights now, taking the fights on for more experience, ready to turn pro. So these like a loss now is again, it's just experience. It's not something like so like these losses that we've had, it's all about experience. Like you go in there knowing that I'm going to put on my best performance, and as long as I put on my best performance, yes, I'm going to be good about the result if it is a loss. But as long as I've tried my hardest that I could, I know I've put in a good camp. I know I've put in a good performance in the fight. I'll learn from that, from whatever's happened, and move on to the next one, ready to not make any of those mistakes at pro. So that's the goal. Pro is the main game. Like taking a couple losses at amateur, like yes, it's gonna suck at the time. Like so, like you can never lie and say like losing's okay, and like it's gonna suck if it's gonna suck so bad. But like they're a part of the sport. Like it's gonna happen as long like amateur is just experience. Pro is that's when we're looking at the like
that's what
it's yeah, that's when the losses mean things. But again, at amateur, loss is just a pride thing. It's just gonna hurt my ego a little bit.
No, but
make me a bit moody for a couple hours. But other than that, like yeah, it's one of them. I go in to make my best performance, and whatever the result is, as long as I know I've gone in and tried my hardest, it's not going to bother me after those moody couple hours.
So, and the moody couple hours, you can just you can sweat that off in the gym, Aaron. It's all good. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Take it out on the bag, you know, take it out on the sparring partner or something. I guess again, no, that's the reason why I asked you that, Aaron, is because I've always said that in every show is that your amateur career is like a curve, bro. So it's your learning curve straight up. And when you have an amateur career, yeah, being okay, cool. Wins and losses don't really matter to you much here at amateur because it is a learning curve. It's like an induction in the show. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it is. It's like I nearly cut you off earlier when you were talking about like my journey and like all the stats and stuff. If you're actually on about like journey as a fight, like my career, when you're talking about my career doesn't start till I turn pro. Like you like the start of your career is pro. Like this is now like I've got the job offer and I'm doing the however many years training. Like it's like the training years before I get the job. So I think it's kind of how you say like an apprenticeship. It's kind of how it is. It's like I'm kind of learning on the job here, and then I get it once I turn pro. That's when I'm all in.
Like you said, though, right? It's that experience, right? And as you get more experience, you'll develop that professional mindset. And it seems like you already have it, anyways. That professional mindset, that maturity that you're gonna have at professional, you're already developing an amateur, man. So I guess your amateur career is that much more beneficial when you towards that journey when you turn pro.
Yeah, literally, I think like the amateurs are really important. You see it more now that now the opportunities have come up a bit more that you see guys having absolutely loads of amateur fights. Like even just look at like Muhammad Makayev, he had like 23, 24 like amateur fights like before he turned pro. Like because of the things like IMAF and everything's available like that now, it's people are just jumping in fights, having all that experience now so that they're ready for pro. Whereas like obviously when MMA was first sort of starting out like in the UK and stuff, like when when Shags and that were amateurs, they didn't have that opportunity where there was like even look at on the night that we're fighting, there's like 5 different shows, like kickboxing, MMA, and there's like 5 different shows in the UK on one night. And in August, there's like 7 MMA shows. Like there's absolutely loads. You have the opportunities now to when you're fit and you're ready, you can jump in fights. As long as you're healthy, it's good to jump in fights.
And I wanted to talk about one of your amateur fights because I saw when I was looking them up, I was like, what the fuck's a catchweight championship, bro? So I wanted to the Machine MMA title fight before we move on into your preparation for this one. I want to talk about that because was that at Machine MMA, was that a division that they had for a catchweight championship?
It was kind of one of them where they wanted us both to kind of like fight for a title, because I was meant to fight on the exact same night, but on Cage Warriors Academy for a title, at 64 something, but then with my opponent got injured, so we ended up getting on Machine, but the guy he usually fights about 70 kilo, and obviously I was a bit light for him, so we kind of like they made an arrangement and we fought at 68, like an in between for a title. Where it was a good fight for me. Again, I had a few injuries going into the fight. I would have liked to hopefully get a finish in there, but again, like through my injuries, I don't have to go through them. The guys in the gym knew what they were, but I went in there, put on a performance in front of it's kind of a home show for us. It was still like an hour trek, but in front of a lot of our fans and like having 2 other guys in the card as well. And it was just a great night overall.
But it was a short notice. So it was short notice for you, obviously, coming into that one. And so when you came into that and when you knew that your opponent was heavy, was it the what was going through your mind at that point? What was your
so it wasn't really heavy because like it's on the day weigh-ins, so we both weighed pretty much the same. It was actually better for me because I didn't have to worry about my weight. I didn't have to think about like, I'm gonna have to like do this and do, like I could just show up and fight. So it probably worked better for me in that favor. And again, it wasn't really short notice because obviously I was preparing for that other fight, and as I say, we try and stay sharp all year round. So nothing's really short notice for me.
When I say short notice, it's just like the change of opponent, change of promotion.
Oh, yeah, change of but again, like because if anything, all the changes worked in my favor as the show was closer to home, like the weight was heavier, so all the changes it was good for me.
No, I'm glad, man. And of course, that shows closer to home. They're a lot better for you, I guess, because there's no real extra pressure or extra trek with the journey of traveling or anything like that. So, an hour's cool. Yeah, I mean, then I mean, when you usually do, obviously, Aaron, like you said, like your training, it's not really a camp because you go non-stop. Yeah, just like the way you would go into a fight. Yeah. But do you usually, are you the type of fighter to sort of look back at one of your fights and say, all right, cool, I'm not happy with what I did there, and then come back in the gym and say to Shad, all right, cool, I just looked at this fight. I'm not happy with that. Can we work on that, like in a bit more in training? Are you the type of fighter to do that?
Yeah, of course, because like that's what we learn from. Like again, as I said, the whole amateur experience is a learning curve. So if you're not coming in and going, oh, like I wasn't happy with that, like how how do I how do I fix it? Or even if there's things they've noticed in the fight and they've come to me and they've gone, right, okay, this didn't go too well. This is how we'll fix it. So again, it's like a two-way part on that sense that if you're not doing that you're not going to learn. If you've made so many mistakes in the fight and you haven't even addressed one of them, and then you fight again, that you are going to make those mistakes again. Like whether the opponent that you have exploits them or not, like that's still going to be a gap in your game that someone's going to exploit later down the line. So why not fix it? So again, like I said, I'd even do that with spot, like we do that with our sparring. We'll watch our sparring and go, right, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Let's work it out. So like I said, the intelligence in the gym, like especially with even just with the three coaches that I mentioned, again, there's more than that, but Sham, Shaj, Jordan, even just with their knowledge, like those holes are getting mended every single session. Like any holes that we can find, they're getting filled by those guys.
No, yeah, and two sessions in one day. So when you do two sessions, do you change up your routine both sessions, or is it like is it all right, cool? I'll keep it across the board. I'll keep it quite the same.
Yeah, so through the camp, I'll have a schedule. So, for like the sixers, well, pretty much all year round, I have the same sort of schedule where I fit in the sessions that I can, and those sessions will be like weekly sessions where they're at the same time and then the same days and things, and it just depends on what I can get when I can fit it in. So, again, with training with different gyms as well, where I can, so just to get different faces used to different bodies as well, and always trying to get the best training.
How beneficial is that to go to different gym and say and sort of pick up new skills? Of course, Ace MMA is your home, right? That's where you're.
Yeah.
But going to a different gym, and I think I get mixed responses on this question a lot. Is because
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of fighters, they will think a lot about gym loyalty and stuff like that. But when you go to a different gym, how is that experience? Because of course, you're not used to seeing the faces down there, and mentally and physically, how is that on you, Aaron?
Yeah, so like I tend to especially at amateur, because you tend to fight a lot of the local guys. We tend to stick away from like MMA gyms.
Right.
Like not for the as in the loyalty sort of sense, just more you're probably going to end up fighting one of the guys. So kind of where we can, we be careful. Like there is some teams that we do cross train MMA with them, but you know who's in the gym and when you can do that. But yeah, I mainly stick to like disciplines like the kickboxing, wrestling. Will go up to 5 points in Newcastle. Just like give him a quick shout out there. And like wrestling with him and his guys, and like I go to like
So you go to
North, yeah, like more specialist gyms, and like Northeast Jiu Jitsu for the grappling as well. There's loads of Joe McNally's team on a Wednesday going up there for some MMA. But no, it's good just training where you can and picking up skills from different guys. But again, like it is that people always say the loyalty thing, but it's like, yes, like it's a what. It's hard to explain this one, so I know it's like my team is Ace, and that's the guys who I know look out for me, and I've got their back as well, and that's where my main training will be. But things that it's good to get training with with different bodies. I think when you're training with the same guys all the time, you know each other too well sometimes. Like there's things where you'll just like you'll know what's happening before you've even done it. So when you get into a fight, it's sometimes that having to work someone out straight away, it can just overwhelm you. So getting to go to different gyms, seeing new faces, having to solve different puzzles, new puzzles, just keeps the mind sharp.
I love the fact that you said, you go to specialist gyms a lot. You don't go to MMA gyms, because when I say to someone, do you change up your routine or mix up anything during training? They say, no, well, I keep it mostly, quite, the same when I'm at MMA gym. But going to a specialist gym, you're basically saying to yourself, all right, Aaron, your kickboxing needs to, be at this level. Yeah. So I guess going to that gym will be a lot more beneficial. Your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is at that level that it needs to be here. So it's that type of
that's what it is. Like you have to put yourself in there with guys who are training that discipline like 6 days a week. And I know if I can keep up with them guys, like that aspect of my game is at a good level. And then we come back to the gym, and again the brains of the operations, like Chad Sham Jordan, and they put that all, like they help us put that all together in our MMA game. So having all aspects covered, and then we can start blending them. But when you don't have the fundamentals of each one, like again, sometimes it is tough to see where you're at. So it's nice to train in different gyms.
Yeah, and of course now coming in at KCO 26, and of course it'll be your KCO debut. But you competed on real major regional shows like Almighty Fight Championships as well.
Yes, I've competed on Almighty, and Made for the Cage, even though it is sort of like a small local show for us, it's still they've had some big names on those cards, so that I would class that as a up there as well.
In class Made for the Cage too, man, as a real show, because for me, it all falls like there's that category of regional UK shows, and there's some fighters want to really compete on certain shows just because there's a lot more of that traction, and a lot more people turn up. And,
it's just the eyes on it. That's all. So you can see I can just see the professionalism in the way that Cage Steel have been doing their interviews. Like the boss kind of got us with one the other day. They even just their website and the way they're handling everything is very professional. So it's nice to get on those sort of shows, get our names out there a bit again, try and build a bit of rep for turning pro. You don't really want to turn pro and nobody's even heard of your name before, so it's good to kind of try and build ourselves up, build a name.
No, definitely. As you turn pro, though, people will hear of your name, Aaron.
That's a hope, yeah.
I mean, that was sort of my point, is that there is no rule. I don't hate against any promotion, because I love just seeing the action.
Just love fights, fighting's good.
I love just seeing the fights go, and I when you see these fights, you never know who's gonna stand out in front of you. Yeah. But are you familiar with Stafford as a fighter? Are you familiar with the name?
Yeah. So I've seen, before I got matched with him, I did see a few of his fights. And just again, it's one of them where you see like a big show like Cage Steel on, and you'll join the stream. You'll watch the fights. Didn't manage to make it onto the last one, but I have watched him fight, and now again I've watched his fights with being matched. And he's going to be a tough. But again, this is the challenge that I'm excited for. I'm excited for these sort of challenges where it's an all round guy. Like he's good at all disciplines, and I can't wait to put my game on him. It's gonna be a fun fight. So again, I'm gonna go in there with my best performance, and whatever happens, like it is gonna be an interesting fight. it's going to be entertaining for sure.
Well, it's one of the fights to see on the card for me, man. Because he's a former champion and you've been a champion. Yeah. And to be honest, I love these types of fights because there is no mismatching. There is no, all right, cool, he's got a padded record, he's fought shit guys, or Stafford's got a padded record, yeah, he lost 2 in a row, whatever. There is none of that. Yeah. It's an even keel, two of the brightest standouts in UK going at. Yeah, but do you feel how does that make you feel to the fact that you're fighting someone on your boat, on the same boat as you, man, on the same level as you?
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, that's all I can say is that I'm excited. I know that if I want to be pro and I want to get to the highest levels of the pro divisions, I have to fight guys who are good. Like this guy's he's had a lot of fights. Some probably I think similar amount to me actually. I think all of his are A class though. But again, I'm excited. It's gonna be a bomb burner. He looks fit. He seems to carry his pace well for 3 rounds, and I know that I can do that as well. So it's going to be a lot of action for him. If it goes all 3, it's going to be a lot of action. That's for sure.
I can't wait to see the action, man. To be fair, I'll be there live and direct as well, man. So no, I'm excited to see that fight for, and I'm actually Aaron. I'm pleased to just hear that your mindset is in the right place. You've got the maturity down. 8-1 in 9 fights, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing this one go down. So I look forward to seeing it, man, and I wish you all the best of luck. Yeah, both coming into K Steel 26, my bro.
All right, cheers, man. I really appreciate it.
No, I really appreciate it too, man. It's been a good talk, man.
I'll have to catch you at the event. You'll have to pop over, come say hi.
No, definitely, but I'll be there, man. I'll be there for sure.
Awesome, man.
Thank you so much, mate. Have a good training session, man.
Right, it's been a pleasure, man. Cheers.
It's been a real